Hey guys, getting ready here to do a live call with one of my clients here. Let you know a little bit about how I work with people. So I'm just waiting for him to hop on. There he is.
Hey Matt,
Cameron,
how's it going?
what's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing good. It's early morning, It's a good day out.
Yeah, like the beard. It's coming in, man.
Yeah, no, I was actually asking my mom, like, should I shave like before this or like, but she's a fan. She's a fan, so
Yeah, yeah. Looks good.
thank you, thank you.
Well, thanks for taking the time to hop on and do this with me. I know I've been wanting to do it for a while. I keep telling you about it, and finally getting around to doing this so I can actually tell people more about what I do. So really
Of
appreciate
course.
you hopping on. Yeah,
Yeah, no problem.
cool. So first off, I just kind of wanted to, for the people who aren't familiar with me, um, I am I guess you'd say movement specialist, strength coach that really specializes in helping people troubleshoot. So primarily in the area of movement, but it had been other areas of fitness as well. So I think I'm gonna do another story here soon, kind of with a little more detail about that. But kind of wanted to talk to you today, kind of specifically how that excuse me, how that worked with specifically with working with you. Um, but maybe, yeah, you could just kind of tell people too, like for the people that have been following me, kind of what your background is and what you do.
So I participate in a sport called martial arts tricking, or just tricking for short. And it's basically an aesthetic blend of a couple different movement forms like gymnastics, martial arts, breakdancing. You fuse them all together and you try and make like a saucy, flowy combo, and it's what I do.
Nice. And how long have you been doing that for now total? Like how many years?
Probably about like 9 years now. Yeah, like
Wow.
eight-ish. Yeah, nine. Yeah, yeah. So it's getting there.
Nice.
It's getting there.
Nice. Nice. And then did you athletics wise before that, like what were you do like sports and stuff before that too or
I played like 11 years of soccer, but I didn't have to do a lot of strength training or anything
yeah,
for that. And then actually, I think my friend Cage is in here. I played volleyball for 1 year with Cage as well.
nice. And then so I'm trying to remember because I know you had told me. I was trying to remember how you got introduced to tricking originally. Was it somebody that you knew that you just kind of started doing it with, or?
Yeah, Matt Hissong actually introduced me. So I
Okay.
mean, I went to the beach one day and I just like saw someone doing like parkour and stuff, and I was like, oh, I was really interested. So I got in from parkour, and then from there I hated tricking when Matt showed me initially, and then if you stick with something, you get good at
Yeah.
it, and it's fun. So
You knew there was something there, even though you hated it, that you wanted more of it. Something there.
yeah, yeah, it was like there's some good body control there.
Yeah. Yeah. Right on. So, in terms of and I was realizing I was thinking earlier today. I was trying to remember how we actually even originally met. I know it
Hmm.
was at height, but
Yeah,
I can't. It's fuzzy to me as to when that actually originally happened.
yeah. I don't know, like, because we knew of each other for a long
Yeah.
time, and then just towards
You
the end of
coach.
height.
Yeah, and then you coached Evelyn and my
Yes,
daughter
yes.
gymnastics. So yeah,
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 that was good.
through
Yeah.
all of that. So when you first originally approached me about working
Hmm.
with you, maybe just talk a little bit about like some of the things that you were running into that were kind of roadblocks for you at that point that you were kind of wanting to be able to figure out so you could continue to advance with tricking.
Of course. So after I contacted you after I went to like my first like professional tricking battle. Like I got flown out to San Francisco and competed, and
That's
I did
right.
I did all right, but like I just wasn't there. Like my body was in pain when I moved, and so that really stopped me from being able to do things. And so like in my mind, I was like, I'm probably gonna break and get injured pretty soon. and so I was like, I need to reach out and get like some professional help. And so yeah, I mean like my right hip, the internal rotation and just everything about it. In a lot of the tricks, everything. It was just painful. And then actually, and so I might be stepping a little bit forward, but I did end up getting injured, right? But it was my left knee, it was the opposite
Uh,
knee that was normally the problem for me. So like I was like, hip pain, knee pain on the left side, and then back
right,
pain like every day. I was like, what the heck?
right. Yeah. And would you say that like in your sport are injuries pretty common? I mean, it seems like it's a pretty extreme sport. I'm just so that people know, I don't do tricking. But I work with people in a lot of different areas. So working with you, I'm just kind of looking at the unique things that you deal with. So is tricking something that are injuries pretty common with when you're like flipping and throwing yourself through the air
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah, for the most part, I think the community has like a pretty good sense of like I mean, it depends person to person. It really does depends person to person and how much they send. But yeah, I mean, injuries are always around, and I mean, not even major injuries, but like people are always in pain. They're like, this
Little
hurts.
banged up.
Like, yeah, they're like,
Yeah,
oh, like I'm feeling this, but I'm feeling good, so let's go.
yeah,
But I don't think people realize that they don't have to be like, this is like bothering me at all. But yeah, injuries are
got,
they're fairly common. Yeah.
got you. Yeah, and that's a big one as far as just ongoing pain for any athlete is you kind of most athletes we just deal with it. We're like, oh, you know
Yeah.
what? I've got a competition coming up, or you know what? You're an athlete because you love doing that and you love training and getting better at it. So you're not going to stop unless it's something really extreme. So
Exactly.
yeah. So just to kind of like let people know kind of when I work with someone, it's very collaborative. I mean, you got to experience that. It's like I'm not coming in to work with someone and I expect them obviously if you're paying me, you want to listen to what I have to tell you and take it hard to do it. But I want you to be aware of what you're feeling. I need your input and your feedback because the goal isn't to make a client rely on me forever. The goal is to help them learn and be able to be able to take that and move forward eventually. And if they want to continue working with me, then we're moving on to more advanced stuff and getting better, right? And not
Yeah,
just kind of
exactly.
stagnate. Um, so as we from your initial, so the way it kind of started off, we did like an initial assessment. So
Hmm.
a couple hours on that, and that's really just to like when we do those, it's to identify like low hanging fruit. So like what are the biggest what's the biggest weakness we can find that will give you the fastest payback really.
Hmm.
So you mentioned like for you you knew like back pain,
Yeah.
knee pain were the couple of things that you really wanted to work on, and we pretty quickly identified that we needed to have you work like on the lower abdominal engagement,
Hmm.
finding those external obliques and hamstrings. And as we worked on it, I don't know, you can say for yourself, like was it surprising to you to kind of realize that there was a lack of connection to some of those muscles?
Yeah. Yeah. No. It was pretty shocking because like I was already very health conscientious and I was a massage therapist and a trainer at the time. So like I thought I knew what I was doing. I had experience with tricking for at least six or so years, 7 years, and so yeah, no, I mean, like, I was shocked that I didn't actually, first of all, I had to realize that there was like this disconnect. And then
Uh,
as I tried to tap into these muscle chains, the glutes, lower abs, obliques, hamstrings, inner quad, like when I specifically wanted to activate these muscles, I couldn't. I was just like in like a freeze type state. Like,
yeah,
it's crazy. And I'll just shift everything to the places where I thought like I would just muscle memory a lot of things. Like I would shift things to my back, and I
right.
wouldn't I wouldn't have the connection to get the oblique. So it was extremely tough in the beginning for me, but if you stick with it, you get some good results from it.
Yeah. And it took a little while. It took a lot of like working and repetition. It took a lot of work on your part. Like I kind of like showed you the stuff to like start working on, but then you
Yeah.
put in the hard work of that daily, working to find and get those muscles to activate. And you brought up a really good point that for a lot of people, it doesn't matter really the type of athlete when they can't find that lower abdominal engagement that they use their back a lot. So you had actually like you were using your lumbar erectors a lot
Yeah.
to throw a lot of those tricks. I mean, it was kind of amazing how much I was realizing after your initial assessment, like That's why he has such massive erectors, which is
Yeah,
cool if you have on the other side to balance that out. But
yeah,
if that's because that's all you're using, it's kind of like, ooh.
yeah. No, it
So
didn't feel good. It didn't feel
yeah,
good. Let me tell you.
yeah, and that is something I think for a lot of athletes to realize that the daily wear and tear and the aches and pains that I mean there'll be aches and pains, but if you're having consistent pain in a certain area that doesn't feel right, that'll a
Mhm.
lot of times be from a compensation where you're only using part of a chain and you gotta figure out what that other part is.
Yeah.
So that you can start to decrease that. Yeah, so you mentioned it a little earlier. After so it was actually after we started working together, you did suffer a pretty major
Yeah.
injury. So maybe talk a little bit about like how that affected how you trained
Absolutely.
and yeah, and how what we did kind of helped you with the rehab from that even up to
Okay.
now.
Definitely. Yeah. It cut out a little bit, but I think I got the gist of it. Um, yeah, I mean, so I ended up tearing my ACL, doing like a cork snap. It honestly, it was not one of my toughest moves, but I was, I still was so early to the system that you showed me that like I was still just crazy off balance. I didn't realize how far out I was, right? But upon like coming back and rehabbing for the ACL, and then being given the chance, like, okay, well, for the first like week or two out of ACL surgery, you can't walk, and then like for like months you can't go downstairs like normally and stuff. Like it's just a struggle, and so um, it really forced me to slow down, and it forced me to kind of get in touch with some of the movement systems. And what you gave me was an opportunity to kind of relearn my body and kind of like I couldn't find my glutes like prior to working with you, and so like in any functional movement, if you're doing squats, you're doing gainers, if you're whatever you're doing, you need to have this ability to connect. And so even the stuff that the physical therapist gave me for the ACL recovery, it was fantastic. It was like good glute engagement stuff, but it was going hand in hand with what you already told me, and so, and we had already done a little bit more of an in-depth look at like, okay, they're just focusing on the knee and the hip and just making sure it connects well to the body. But you kind of showed me, okay, well, there's a lot more connection going on, and it gave me a really good baseline to kind of work off of.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. There's like chains, and I won't try to get into that right now, but basically
Yeah.
like a couple big basically all the muscles fall into two main chains in the body that where they you can start to get those all start to connect and talk to each other and work at the same time and just watching your most recent videos is exciting for me because I'm seeing that you're like getting that
Yeah.
connection now like your body's really getting it's just
Yeah.
the movement like before you were powerful and explosive but now like watching there's just a smoothness to the movement and a
Thank you.
connection to it now that's like it's different it definitely is so it's
I mean,
I love seeing that.
well, thank you. And I mean, I couldn't have done it without you. Like prior, I mean, I'm still really working on my what I'm doing. Like like before I wasn't going like 100% just like crazy and stuff. But now I'm just like so much more reserved, working in my comfort zone just so much, and like every movement I do, I feel this like structure to it, and it really makes me just feel safe. Like I just feel safe in all my tricks. Um, and it's just it's just yeah, there's so much you taught me about muscle connection, the breath, all this stuff that kind of all fits together, and it fits together in any sport, but especially in tricking where you're launching yourself into the air. You're going to want to make sure you actually are connected, so
Yeah,
that when you catch yourself you don't break, but we have to figure that out the hard way sometimes.
yeah. And that's you bring up another good point there of like to really find that maximum performance when you can get that connection to where it is interesting. You feel safe. It's
Yeah,
really hard to describe it unless
yeah,
you've actually
very safe.
felt it, where you're so connected to each of those muscles and connection without even having to think about it anymore.
Yeah,
That just becomes where you're like it feels natural. The movement feels natural. You feel like you are kind of within yourself. You're within your capabilities, and we're always going to stretch our capabilities, but
hmm
uh, But yeah, I mean, just it does. It gives you that feeling of safety, so you really can perform to the your best ability. So, uh,
Yeah.
um, so well, I think you've kind of touched on them already. But what would you say are kind of the biggest changes that you feel like overall you've noticed in the time we kind of had started, training together for you?
Um, I mean, awareness just in
Yeah,
general of different movements. I mean, one thing that bothered me day to day, I mean, if I stopped like tricking and stuff, like my left knee would calm down. My hip wouldn't be so much of an issue. But my lower back, my left lower back, like, I thought like I had to just like load and like pump force into it, you know?
right,
Probably, yeah, one of the greatest things, and it's kind of going back to the safety thing, is like knowing what muscles to push like a lot of the load for a movement into, a lot of the tension. And so like, if I'm doing like if I'm deadlifting or front squatting, which is decently rare for me, I mostly do a lot of like calisthenics and stuff like that. I know like if I'm pushing force into my lower abdomen, my obliques, my back is just like it's protected. It's not gonna like explode. And of course, there's
right.
more to a lift than that. But
Sure.
yeah, there's a
Good
lot
place to
of
start.
yeah. But I mean, yeah, the lower back, that was probably one of the biggest things for me.
Yeah,
Uh, and then, but just generally, just like, dude, just feeling safe, just
yeah.
being able to move and not like kill myself. It was really good. I don't know if I answered that
Not,
all the way, but
no, that's good. Not basically being able to do what you wanted to, also not regretting it the next day and just being
yeah,
like, oh, now I got to take a day to recover or two before I
mhm,
can even go back to train again. Yeah.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Cool, man. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to hop on and do this. Guys, check out if you don't follow Cameron already, for sure go follow his page, and he's a great massage therapist too. So if you're in the AV Lancaster Palmdale area, are you able to do massage again now? Are you guys starting
Yeah,
back up?
yeah, yeah,
Cool.
yeah. I'm able to do it, so I'm just starting to get back to it slowly. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's good, man. It's good.
Yeah, for sure. So check him out, and then you guys can follow my page here on Instagram. Also, it's on Facebook too. Trainer Matt J on Facebook, and website is Stout-Heart Fitness. It's all one word, so stoutheartfitness.com. You can get on there if you're uh, going through maybe some of the similar stuff that Cameron is, and you want to maybe talk about doing an assessment, getting your movement checked out, see what kind of holes we can find there to start fixing for you. You can also just send me a DM here on Instagram, and we'll set up a time and get you started. So,
Yeah, and
other than
on
that,
a closing note with it, Matt. Yeah, I just want to like everyone who's watching, like it. Honestly, like I didn't realize how disconnected I was, and I just was getting injured. I was being frustrated. Like there's a lot that Matt has taught me about the human body and how to think about the human body. There's and also just past the body. He's taught me some emotional and nervous system responses to like if you have something going on. So it's really valuable information. Like I probably wouldn't have made as good of a recovery if I had just done just what the physical therapists were doing. Because of what Matt had given me, I was able. Now I feel stronger than ever. The
yeah,
injury, it's a blip on my radar, but like it's fading. It's fading away,
yeah,
and I feel
yeah.
better. So happy to
That's
work.
awesome. Thanks for that, man. Appreciate it. And yeah, like you said too, a lot of it does come back to like the nervous system and stuff too, because it's a whole body approach to fixing whatever the issues are. So it might start with movement, but you get to learn a lot about yourself through doing that, and you've learned a ton about yourself too, just like recovering through this whole thing too, because that's a big trauma to go through an injury like that.
And it, but like it teaches you. If you don't
Yeah,
stop, it'll teach you. That's for sure.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. All
Awesome.
right, Cameron. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Have a good
All
morning, man.
right. Talk to you later.
Peace.
Bye.